That is a melody I wanted to use for a long time. I wrote it in a song, a future numbers song, and Lord knows when that's going to happen. So we are out of cream this morning, so I had to make a latte with milk. Lattes aren't bad. They're not bad. They're just not as good as an Americano. Still pretty good, though. Still tasty. I'm okay with it. Kim Eklund has been needing some more bananas. Kim Eklund has started to comment on all of my videos, giving a 1 to 5 banana rating. He's not happy with anything with cleans. Any clean vocals, he's like, 2 bananas. And I think this man needs a heavy dose of bananas. This guy really, really needs some heavy music. He gave me 5 tracks to listen to. Let's just pick the first one that he suggested, which is Black Tongue, Parting Soliloquy. I have a feeling it's going to be heavy. I've heard of Black Tongue. Let's give this a listen. Black Tongue, Parting Soliloquy. It's going to be heavy. I just know it. I can hear the bass. Barefoot. That's heavy. There's some really cool layering on the vocals there to get a very interesting effect. There you go. Some good highs. That's cool. I like that vibe. Groovin'. That half note. It's so sinister. It's like Bowser metal. It's boss music metal.
The cloak flaps blackly. My fingers map the lines across the writing on your monuments of life and death and time. The cloak flaps blackly. My fingers map the lines across the writing on your monuments. I wander the writing of life and death and time.
I found the lyrics. I'm gonna catch up. We've hit the mental breakdown part of the song. As though the previous 4.5 minutes wasn't one long breakdown. This is the breakdown of the breakdown. Are they gonna? Is it gonna come back and hit one last time, or is it gonna fade? I don't know these days. It's gonna come back. I'm gonna bet it's gonna come back because they're getting back up. That bend. Take me to the lake where the waters remain forever. Yeah. Okay, cool. Must be done now. That sounded like a final note. Cool. I checked out the lyrics and basically it's well written. I'm wondering who he's talking to, because there's someone that he's talking to, but the overall message that I'm getting is that he wants the sweet, sweet, sweet release of death. He even says, "Death, take me home. Take me to the lake where the waters remain forever still, and I hope to God the next passage on the waiting raft is mine. Please don't leave me here between life and death and time." Because he's stuck in a rut. Stuck in that rut of depression. And this was the expression of that. Pretty accurate. Surprisingly, I actually really like that groove section. Like where things kind of just chilled out. Where was it? Right around the 2-minute mark. Right around the 2-minute mark, there was like this cool groovy section where kind of things just kind of vibed for a bit. And I thought that was nice because with a song like this, you can kind of get bored. You know, it can get a little bit boring with how dragged out everything feels. And the drums were nice and tasteful. I could hear the bass. The bass end was nice and heavy and big, and I could actually identify it. Guitars were tuned really low. I couldn't really tell what tuning it was. Sometimes it's hard to tell these days when, like, if the mix is just really, really heavy, I assume that the tuning is low, but that's not always the case. Sometimes sometimes they're only tuned down to B or something, and the mix is just so massive. I'm like, oh, is that down to like G or F or something? But it's like B. So I'm not going to take any guess right now as far as what that tuning is. It's probably low. I'm willing to bet it's low, but I could be wrong. But anyways, I always say, but anyways, I need to practice not saying that. The vocals were really well produced. I like that it was just bottom of the barrel heavy, you know, it was just so weighed down from the start. For a song to be 6 minutes, they have to have some sort of variety, otherwise it will feel dragged out. Like if you're gonna write a song that's just gonna be heavy the entire time, like brutal heavy the entire time, your listeners are going to get bored by the 3-minute mark, you know? So you have to add something. You have to change things up. You can still keep the vibe heavy, you know, but you can't just be brutal the entire time. Otherwise it gets boring. They had those 2 sections. The first section was around the 2-minute mark where they went to that kind of groovy, vibey part. And then there was another section where it was like he just did tom work. And it was just like boom, 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 boom. I felt like by the second time I was starting to feel the notion. I was like, I'm feeling like I'm starting to get bored. You know, I'm starting to get bored with this. But that notion was quickly expelled, you know, afterwards when they got even heavier. And then they did the final outro with the heavy of the heavy, you know, heaviest heavy. And so that was good. There was no melody. I'm a big fan of melody, and I think that's the difference between a heavy band like this and a heavy band like Vildiarta. Is that like Vildiarta, they incorporate a lot of the higher end of the guitars in a heavy way, and it's very satisfying to listen to. And whereas this, it just was just on the low end, you know, virtually the entire time. And you know, when they hit the blast beats and they kind of do that more death metal thing, I don't mind the vibe feeling sinister. You know, I feel like when they did incorporate a melody, you know, switch between that half note tone where it's like, it creates that really dissonant, creepy tone, and that's why the Jaws theme is so effective, because it's da da ba da. It's establishing dissonance. And it's just a half note, and that half note, because you have no idea what the key signature is, and out of context, it just sounds like dissonance. Dissonance creates a tension in the ears, and so when you hear the dissonance, you're like, ooh, there's something wrong, there's something sinister going on here, you know. And so that's when I hear that kind of stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, you know, I like that. And this is more just from a songwriting standpoint. I would like it if they incorporated a variety of melody instead of just sinister the entire time. That's the vibe that they're clearly going for, you know. So really, my criticism is more of like a style preference, you know, rather than they did something wrong. I don't think they wrote anything wrong or incorrect, or, you know, I just think it's their vibe. It's not as much my style. I love heavy music, you know, but I also really like melody. I like melody being incorporated a little bit more, and I like themes. The theme of this one was heavy the entire time, with really a sinister backbone, and I didn't mind it, you know, but I'm also not like pumped about it. But it's also in the morning. I'm still drinking coffee. I just started with my coffee, and it's just it is what it is, you know. So that was Parting Soliloquy, Black Tongue. I can appreciate it though, but maybe it's because it's in the morning as much as it is. I'm just not as like stoked on it. Hopefully Kim Eklund will get some more bananas out of this, and he can banana himself silly.